You see, one of the great problems we have today is that we make an assumption that being in meetings and being in gatherings where there's great euphoria sometimes and so on, that can be meeting God. Now, it can be to a degree. But when we come to the Bible and when we read the history of the church, we discover people who were radically transformed. And the transformation in many cases occurred when they were alone, occasionally with others, but most often when they were on their own. And generally in the work of the kingdom, most work is done when we are alone. You know, in our lives, we have many things to do. When you read the story of Solomon, whenever he became the great king of Israel, we discover that in order to try and find the purpose and objectives of life, he decides to do trials, as it were, testings of life, to discover what life was really all about, to discover what would bring him joy and what would bring true contentment in his heart. And so he gives himself to wisdom. That produces a lot of pain for him. He gives himself to wine. That doesn't satisfy. He gives himself to a life of pleasure and hedonism, and he discovers that that leaves a deep emptiness. He also pursues a life of building and great projects for material gain and financial gain. And that he does, and he builds the greatest programs that are ever being designed and carried out in Jerusalem. And when he has it all accomplished, he still declares it's all vanity. It's all nothing. One of the things I have discovered over years with working with people and talking to people who have deep issues is that very often there is a father-son breakdown in relationship. Very often where the father has not communicated with the son. This can happen with mother, son, or daughter, mother as well. But there can be real problems in the relationships. But one of the things that's interesting is that where the father takes the time to bless the children, it undoubtedly brings spiritual benefit and blessing on the children. I believe it's a very good and worthwhile thing for a father or a mother to do over their children. To pray over them, but also to declare over them that God has a plan for your life. That God has a future for you. Not only is there spiritual power, as we have heard through the words that are spoken, but also as a parent, our responsibility in reading our children is to attempt to see their gifts. And attempt to see what direction they would best go, and to try and aim the arrow. What I want you to notice about the angels is that the angels were constantly on that ladder. That open portal, that gateway between heaven and earth, there was tremendous activity spiritually. And God was wanting to convey to his child, this is the way it's got to be. There's got to be continuous spiritual activity. There needs to be constant engagement between heaven and earth in your soul.